crazy. Some are smart and brave. Well, it doesn't really matter. We all end up in the grave. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. I'm saying all my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead. All my favorite people are dead.
Well, hi there, breathers,
And welcome back.
to another fabulous episode of
All my favorite people are dead.
Oy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is permanent.
Dead is rather permanent. Yeah, I don't.
You would
there's
think.
There's not a whole lot of coming back from that.
You don't think so, right? I mean, one minute you're here and the next minute you're not.
Unless it's a zombie apocalypse.
Okay, that's true. Then they're back.
Yeah.
They're not really gone.
Could you survive a zombie apocalypse?
So I'll answer that with a joke. You know what vegetarian zombies eat? Grains. For those of you who may not get that, I couldn't eat brains because I'm a vegetarian. I couldn't because I can't eat other people.
That's true. Yeah.
I can't eat a chicken, so I couldn't eat other people.
Man, you would not do well.
No, that would be it. Say goodbye.
Yeah.
I would have to find grains, and so that would be a problem, I guess.
Okay, fair enough.
So, moral of the story is no zombie apocalypse for me.
Well, you wouldn't do very well as a zombie.
I'm not doing very well as a living person.
Oh, okay.
Some days that ain't working either.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think I would manage as a zombie.
Okay.
So,
Would you be able to survive the zombie apocalypse as just like a person like trying to survive it, trying not to get eaten by zombies?
probably.
Okay, good.
'Cause
All right.
if it's-
You can run, right?
I can run fast.
All right, there you go.
And if it's me or you, you're going down.
Yeah, I will go down because I can't run, so...
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I'll
you can't
definitely-
run?
No.
Well, put you on your bike. You like to bike.
Yeah, I can cycle all day long, but I can't run.
I don't know about running. I mean, when I hear the word marathon, I usually think of Netflix.
Yep.
I could dance my way, probably. I could probably, shuffle off the buffalo. I could dance my way. I'm not a runner.
No, I mean, no, I definitely, I can't.
So-
No.
Good thing we don't have to worry about...
Zombie apocalypses?
You know what? I walk around the city and I see everybody on their phone, and they don't look up from their phone when they cross the street.
So we're pretty much already in the
So
zombie
it
apocalypse.
already looks like a zombie
Yeah.
apocalypse. I'm walking on Fifth or Madison or whatever, and and I'm like, I guess with your peripheral, if you see other people move, then you walk.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's not a car.
Right.
And
right.
nobody's looking up or at each other or
Yeah.
at a light.
Yeah.
And I say to myself that we're there.
We're already there.
That is the zombie apocalypse. So I can beat those guys because I actually look up from my phone.
Yes. Yeah.
So
No. All right. Good. Well, I'm glad to know that you could survive the zombie apocalypse.
okay,
All
good
right,
to know.
good to know.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of swords, so I could probably stab some zombies, cut some heads off.
cut their heads
you
off,
know,
but they're
yeah.
already dead. They don't.
Well, I guess each zombie movie has like a different like sometimes you have to cut the heads off to kill them.
Oh.
Sometimes you have to destroy the brain to kill them. So even if the head is cut off, it can still bite.
Oh, there you go.
So it depends
Put
on
garlic
which.
in the mouth. Oh, that's a
No,
vampire.
it's a vampire. Yeah.
I always get those
So,
confused.
It really depends on which zombie movie you're watching and how to kill them. But who knows? I don't know.
Okay, I would just have to throw tofu at them or something.
Interesting.
Yeah. Rain.
Yeah. So
Okay.
here we are.
What do you want to talk about? Yeah.
A female murderess.
There's no such a thing.
No.
Girls don't do things like that.
Girls kill all the time.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Other than you and me.
Yeah. No, they. I've been finding some pretty brutal murders by women. By women, for women. No.
People don't want to talk about it because women get treated differently.
It's true. But in the 19th century, this is an interesting one because this woman is actually only the fourth woman to be executed in New York State's history. She's like
Wow.
the third or fourth woman. The first was back in 1814. Her name was Mary Antoine. In fact, there is actually a list on Wikipedia of executions in New York State, but it's clearly incomplete because the lady I'm going to talk about today is not on the list.
Uh-huh.
And she was definitely executed.
They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about killing women.
Also, she was also executed with a man, and they didn't talk about him. He's not on the list either. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, so she's this is a doozy here.
Okay.
So not many people know about the terrible life, crime, and execution of Lucy Ann Hoag.
I am one of those people who don't know who she is.
Good. So we're going to learn something brand new today.
Okay, bring it.
When I discovered this case, I was telling a coworker. A coworker walked into my office and I was checking. She's like, "What are you working on?" And I was like, "Oh, I just discovered this woman who killed her husband." And
wait, that's a crime? Oh.
Well, get this. My coworker's like, "Oh, good for her."
There you go. He had it coming.
She's like, "She's my hero." And
There you go.
I'm like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah. I didn't know that was a crime. I thought, you could be excused for that.
Well, I was like, hold up. She fucking murdered a guy. Like, she killed someone. And
It wasn't just someone, it was her husband.
Well, my coworker very confidently goes, he must have deserved it.
He had it coming. I thought.
Well, I'll let you be the judge.
Okay.
As we go through this.
I will be the judge and the jury.
So, was she a hero ridding the world of a dirtbag? Or was she a cold-blooded killer? So, at the end...
Okay.
Well, I want to hear your thoughts on that. I'm eager to hear your thoughts, and anybody else's thoughts. They can always send us a message on Facebook or whatever they want to do. I'm eager to know what people think about this one.
Okay.
Okay. So now I was able to find an actual murder pamphlet.
There are murder pamphlets?
So yes,
Like vacation pamphlet? Like
well, this was actually published at the time of her execution. And in case our listeners, and apparently Sue, don't know what a murder pamphlet is, murder pamphlets were essentially the 19th century version of...
playbill?
What?
Like a playbill when you go to Broadway
Yeah.
to tell you about the person you're about to see murdered, hung, or executed?
More or less.
Yeah.
They were the 19th century version of today's Dateline.
Yeah.
Generally produced by a local newspaper. And they covered the details of the murder, the trial, and the execution exclusively. They weren't talking about anything else. The murder pamphlet was specifically about this person. And I found hers in the New York State Archives in Albany. And I was very excited to.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I guess you had no choice, right? I mean, I remember when the OJ trials were on TV.
Right, yeah.
This was the equivalent.
Yep. The murder pamphlets, generally, depending on the popularity of the trial, sometimes they would sell out, the murder pamphlets, and they'd have to go into second and third printings.
Did you have to buy this?
Yeah, you would actually go to the local newspaper's publishing office and buy it.
So they didn't hand them out at the killing.
No, this was a way to make money.
This was something you had to purchase.
Yeah.
Like when you go to a game.
Yeah, right. Or if you go to a concert and you want the tour book,
There you go.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So you had to buy it. And the local newspapers were making a killing on these things.
I imagine they had a field day.
Because literally, what else is going on? Like, ooh, juicy murder, especially murder done by a woman. It's like...
women don't do those things.
Yeah. So these were popular. Yeah.
Wow.
So, here we go. We're going to talk about...
you found one.
I found...
You traced that
I found it. Yeah, because, this is from the 1850s. And the fact that there's still one in existence is pretty amazing.
I can't find two socks that match, but yet you... Wow. All right.
Okay.
Way to go.
Let's talk about Lucy Ann Hoag. Now, she said she didn't know much about where or when she was born, though she was probably born sometime around 1821, given her date at the time of her death, or her age at the time of her death.
Right.
She had apparently been placed in a basket as an infant and left on the steps of the overseer of the poor in Rhinebeck, New York. Yeah. As long as she could remember, she had been the adopted child of a man named Henry Fulton, and they lived in Red Hook, New York, on a farm. She had claimed that she had never known her parents, and that she may have briefly met her mother when she was a young girl. However, the woman had seemed quite distant and cold and very unloving. Oh. And she claimed that she badly wanted the love of a mother. So,
when she was adopted, it was just by the guy? There was no mom there?
That's a really good question. She doesn't mention other characters other than him.
Probably not.
She claimed that the Fulton family made her work very hard, both indoors and outdoors, and that she was seldom allowed to attend church or other such functions.
Isn't that why they adopted kids back then? I mean, most of the time they adopted them for free child labor?
Indentured servitude.
Right.
That's what it is, which sucks.
Why do you need another mouth to feed?
It definitely sucks.
I mean, that's why I had my children. I needed someone to clean. I needed someone to clean the litter box. And,
fair enough. Yeah. So, a man by the name of Nelson Hoag from Dover came to see the Fulton household. Now, the reason he was there is one of his sisters, and he had many sisters, was marrying one of the Fulton sons. So, he hung out, he comes back, and he was apparently a 32-year-old widower. So, he had been married once before, his wife died, he had kids from that marriage. And he was 32, she was 17 when he shows up. Mm-hmm. He came back, and on the second visit, he proposed marriage. Now, this seems like a bit much, but like, I mean, could you at least buy me dinner first before you propose?
Seriously.
You know?
Let me see the ring.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't sound all that suave, shall we say, as we're learning about him.
Like, he's looking for somebody to take care of the kids, no?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, she's going from...
He's pretty lonely, right? His wife is gone, and he needs someone to help work out on the farm.
So she's going from the frying pan into the fire?
Pretty much, yeah. So now, her adopted father had originally promised to give the married couple $500 and some household furnishings, which is a big deal in the 1840s.
It's a nice dowry. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice dowry.
It's more than my husband got for me.
Right. Well, you didn't get any furniture from the projects?
Yeah. No, we burned them for heat. He got a couple of cats.
Yes, a lot of cats.
He got a couple of cats to be named later, and a sleeping bag, and a coffee mug from the gas station.
There you go.
That's what he got in my dowry.
That's
that was, and some record albums.
And some record. Okay, good. All right. Mr. Fulton apparently never came through on his promise for this dowry. He never gave him $500 or anything like that. So that's and Miss Nelson was like, "All right, we're not going to be seeing your family anymore. We're done with the Fultons." So I guess it's a good way to get rid of your in-laws, I guess. Now,
good to know.
From what Lucy says in her confession later on, the marriage appears to have been a bad one. Nelson's sisters treated her harshly. At one point, one of the sisters had convinced Lucy that Nelson was having an affair, or at least messing around with a woman in the village. One of the sisters even said that Nelson would have been better off if he had, quote, married a Negro wench. Which is, these sisters sound like real bitches. I'm honestly surprised that Lucy just killed the husband and not the sisters, too. I mean, honestly. Wow. Lucy made a point of saying that Nelson was shit at doing business and that he never bought her anything. Okay, there's many strikes against this guy. Okay. When she took in various jobs like sewing and rub making, he would take the money that she had made. So I'm like, honey... Yeah, I get why you're angry a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, during their marriage, they did have 5 kids, 1 son and 4 daughters.
Okay.
So they had sex at some point anyway. Probably like angry makeup sex, you know?
You think?
Whatever.
Could be.
So this is a quote from her confession, an exact quote. She said, "I often helped in the fields besides doing my housework alone. I frequently assisted Nelson in raking hay and topping off the stacks on Sunday afternoons." So, from the sounds of it, she was working pretty hard. But also, it's the 19th century.
All women worked hard then. But
isn't everybody?
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's not like that machines.
Especially if you lived on a farm, which like 90% of Dutchess County are people working on farms. Sure. You know, so yeah. So Lucy claims that Nelson began having some real money problems on a piece of land that he had purchased. That's when his health became quite feeble, as she put it. This would have been around the spring of 1851. Mm-hmm. She also made a point of saying that Nelson had been suffering from headaches on a regular basis. However, at the trial that took place later on, everyone who knew him, from his sisters to his lifelong physician, said that he was always a pretty healthy guy and never really suffered from headaches. So we don't know what you're talking about.
She was the headache.
Yeah, she was, yeah. So now we're in the spring of 1851. Right about this time, Nelson brings on a boarder onto their farm, someone who could work on the farm as well, and his name was William Summers. Lucy claimed that she had no interest in William Summers.
Okay.
But he did play a mean fiddle. Gotta love those boys who can play a mean fiddle.
There you go.
In June of 1851, Nelson apparently had become so ill that he could no longer work in the fields. A family doctor, Dr. Hooker, was called in to examine and prescribe some medication. Around this time, Lucy said that her husband Nelson sent her and William to New Milford, Connecticut, to get some money, ham, clams, and oysters. Now,
that's good for headaches. Clams and oysters.
Clams and oysters. Is it? Is it?
I don't eat. I've never eaten them, but I don't know. But I just why would
I love a good oyster?
But
I don't know.
He sent her to Connecticut.
Well, okay, so they live in Dover.
Yeah.
Right, which is
that's true. It's not far.
Dover here in Dutchess County
that's
is,
true.
between, it's right on the border.
Yeah.
So it would take them, on a horse and cart to go from Dover to New Milford, do their shopping, and come back. That's a good chunk of the day for them.
It's like when I make a Trader Joe run.
Yeah, exactly. As all New Yorkers know. When you cross over to Danbury, you're coming back to New York, you got to stop at Trader Joe's first.
It's a thing.
They
don't let you pass.
It's a rule. I'm sure it's like in the law book somewhere.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It says, welcome to New York. Go back to Trader Joe's.
Make sure you go to Trader Joe's before you come back here. Yeah. So anyway, so they get in the cart. They take their ride to New Milford to pick up the goods. Now, during their visit there, they stopped. And they went into a shop where Lucy apparently bought some arsenic. During the trial, a man...
go with the oysters.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little garnish.
Okay.
During the trial, a man named Mr. Treat, who was the clerk for the store in New Milford, claimed that Lucy had purchased the arsenic at the time, but she claims that she had never purchased arsenic while in New Milford, or any time at that point, at all. Okay.
No, why would you buy arsenic?
Why do you need arsenic? Who needs arsenic?
Yeah, what are you going to do with that?
There were differing opinions on what happened when Lucy and William got back to the Hoag farm.
I bet.
Nelson's sisters were there, and they claimed that Lucy was preparing the oysters just for Nelson, and that she wouldn't let anybody else have any oysters, including the children or the sisters. Now, I'm thinking to myself, look, if you're going to kill the husband, you might as well take out the sisters, too, because you already hate them, so just give them some fucking oysters. Yeah. Anyway, Lucy claims that everyone partook in the oysters. She's like, oh, we all had oysters. Everyone did. I loved them. They were scrumptious. The next morning, Nelson began to complain of stomach problems.
To go with the headache. Oh, so now he's got stomach aches.
Stomach aches, headaches.
From the oysters, headaches. Yeah, he's not doing too good.
It's not looking good for Nelson.
Imagine that.
Now,
but we all ate the same oysters there. I don't know why you don't feel
had
good.
The oysters. Yeah. When I was reading this trial at my desk, and I was like, I suddenly yelled out loud, and my coworker was like, what? I was like, this bitch poisoned him with arsenic and the oysters, not the fucking oysters. And she was like, yeah, you don't even need to. You can just leave those bitches out for a couple days. They'll turn into poison all by themselves. I'm like, right?
And they taste bad?
Well, I mean, they're fit. They're like the.
And that doesn't taste bad when it goes bad?
I've never had a bad oyster.
Okay.
I always have them, fresh. And,
You imagine if you leave it out, it gets icky?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not that I imagine arsenic has a very lovely taste.
If you eat bad oysters, you can get real sick.
Oh, you can?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like poison?
Yeah.
So she just added the arsenic
just to speed up the process.
There you go. Yeah. We're not taking any chances.
Right. Now, Lucy also said that Nelson was starting to speak very oddly at this point. He was complaining about his losses and his disappointments and how melancholy he was over his bad business ventures and woe is me. Like setting up the scene for a possible suicide here, maybe. A few days later, when Nelson was still unwell, Lucy said that she was going out to the store to get some supplies.
Rat poison.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that. So,
honey, we're low on rat poison.
Really? Okay. So her husband said, go to Wheeler's store, which was in Dover. He said they have a line of credit there that they can use. Okay.
Go get me.
So that's when she claimed at the trial that he gave her a shilling to buy arsenic.
Of course.
Nelson said that he needed it to kill the rats that were getting into the grain.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, but also not to tell anyone that she was buying the arsenic. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Isn't that, convenient?
Yeah, right. Don't say
Can you get me some Pepto-Bismol and some Tylenol while you're there? Nah, screw that.
Yeah,
I need arsenic.
Arsenic.
Yeah. To go.
So now she goes to the store. She puts all of the groceries on Nelson's credit, right, that the store had, with the exception of the arsenic, which she gave the clerk the shilling for. The clerk, whose name was Whiteley, he'll appear at the trial later, he warned her at that time how poisonous and dangerous this shit was, right? He gave her a heads up. Don't fuck around and find out. Arsenic is bad, right?
Oh, okay.
So
look what it did to the rats.
Right. So she puts it in her pocket, like, whatever.
I'll eat it later.
Yeah. When she got home, her husband told her to hide the arsenic in the cupboard. so the children wouldn't get it. Later on, he explained to her how to mix it with some Indian meal, then put it under the timbers so the rats would get to it, right?
Okay.
So he's laying in bed. He's sick. He's laying in bed. He's explaining to her what to do, right?
Okay.
She goes and puts the Indian meal and the arsenic under the timbers so the rats will eat it. She comes back, and she says that he was sitting in bed with the vial of arsenic and a teacup, pouring the arsenic into a teacup.
For the rats?
Nope.
For himself?
And talking about how melancholy he was.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, right. Yeah.
And how sad he was of his disappointments at not being a good husband and a good businessman, and that he suddenly drank the contents of the teacup.
Of course he did.
And she was just standing there going, "No,
don't.
What
I think maybe the rats were making him tea, and they said, "Here, drink this.
Here, drink this. It's good for you.
It's
It'll
good for
help your headache."
Yeah.
So she didn't think that this stuff would kill him. Surely
She didn't
not.
think the poisonous, really toxic arsenic would kill the guy.
No, not at all.
Try another. Here, have another cup.
So in the
Want some oysters with that? They've been in the sun.
They're delicious.
Yum, yum.
In the early morning hours of the 3rd of July, 1851, Nelson died in his rocking chair in his home in Dover.
Cause of death?
Well,
Can't imagine.
she didn't take the time to find out. She buried his ass in the Weebatuck Cemetery real fast.
Like an hour later.
Like
She wasn't.
done.
That's it.
It didn't take Lucy and her new boy toy, William Summers, to hook up and quickly clear out of there.
Get out of Dodge.
Now, meanwhile, she does have 5 kids.
And?
She does.
So?
She left them. She
He
began...
left them with his other kids,
Yeah.
his sisters, and
She began by selling the crops, the livestock, and whatever else she could to clear...
children.
Yeah, the children. To clear... to clear her dead husband's debts and create some capital for her and her new boo.
and where'd they go?
The two of them quickly ran across the border to Bridgeport, Connecticut, right?
They were in Connecticut. They went to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, they went to Trader Joe's.
Okay.
They're like, look, we need to get some more orange mandarin chicken while we're here. And oysters.
That's right. Okay. And arsenic.
And arsenic. So, the Nelson sisters, right? Nelson Hoag sisters, they were like,
This my brother?
This is fishy as fuck.
It's as fishy as those oysters.
This is...
So they know he's dead and buried.
Yeah. So they're like, this is not cool. They said at the trial that before Nelson's death, in the weeks before he died, really, that Lucy had a habit of saying strange things around them. Things like, I do believe...
Good riddance.
No, well, pretty close. She said, I do believe my Nelson will die soon. Quite a lot. And then she would say things like, my husband does not have long to live. Like, she would just, randomly show up at the shop and they'd be like, how are you and Nelson? Oh, he's going to die soon. Like, she would legit say that shit.
Wow, nobody caught on?
Everyone was like, really? He must be really sick.
He's really, wow.
And she's like, oh my God. I mean, I'm like, I'm sorry, you're an uneducated farm girl and somehow you know your husband's going to die?
Well,
like,
he's melancholy and
he's
sad. He's got a headache.
Eating bad oysters.
And he doesn't feel well.
No.
He's going to die soon.
So,
You watch. You won't.
luckily, Nelson's sisters were like, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, they decided to go ahead and dig him up and do an autopsy. Real fast.
There you go.
So they, several men assisted in this ordeal, including Reuben Chapman, John Henry Baker, Dr. William Hooker, the family doctor, another doctor, Dr. D.E. Stillman, and the coroner. Now you get the coroner involved.
Where were you when we needed you, coroner?
Coroner Edward P. Taylor. Now, some of his organs were removed, placed in sealed jars, and sent to Poughkeepsie to be examined more closely. Dr. William P. Gibbons examined the organs and found enough swelling and arsenic in the liver and the stomach to cause death. So, with this new knowledge...
I'm so surprised. I'm like
Right?
shocked at the results.
Right? Oh my God.
No one saw that coming.
No. Dutchess County Sheriff decided Lucy Ann should be questioned. So the Deputy Sheriff Sherman Howard and Coroner Edward Taylor found Lucy Hoag and William Summers together in Connecticut in their little love shack, all cozy in bed together.
Not eating oysters.
Not eating oysters, that's for sure. So we come to the trial in the county courthouse right here in Poughkeepsie, the Dutchess County Courthouse, beginning on March 16th, 1852. The case caught the interest of everyone because the main suspect is a woman.
Oh, there you go.
And that was unheard of.
That's right.
Justice Seward Barculo oversaw the trial, and there was plenty of damning evidence, such as against Lucy, the fact that she purchased arsenic not once, but twice. Once in Dover, once in New Milford, right? When she went to go get the oysters. The store clerks in both of these places had mentioned how we told her this stuff is poisonous, that she should be careful, right?
She was.
The one store clerk had pointed out that she even came back to the store and said, "Oh, I never bought this stuff from you. Never tell us that I bought."
Saw me.
And
I was never here. You didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah.
And the store clerk's like, "Bitch, I told you this shit was dangerous, and don't fuck around." And no, I'm not gonna go ahead and say
I'm not gonna lie
she
to
was
you.
never here.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So the sisters.
So she poisoned him too.
No, she didn't get the chance.
She's like, "Oh, really?
Really?
You saw me? Have an oyster."
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom's recipe.
It doesn't I wouldn't put it past her. The sisters of Nelson told the court how they had kept hearing Lucy say over and over again, "My husband's going to die soon. It's not long for this while." Blah, blah, blah. She also kept insisting that she didn't know what arsenic was, and that she hoped to be struck down dead if she had ever seen arsenic before.
Oh,
like,
and
bitch.
the winner for the award goes to...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
the best drama ever.
Jeez.
So the two different clerks had mentioned her specifically requesting it, paying cash for it so it didn't appear on the store credit, things like that. If indeed the arsenic was just for something innocent like poisoning rats, then why hide it? Why take the time?
Because it wasn't for the rats.
It wasn't for the rats.
It was for the big rat.
Judge Parcolo told the jury that, quote, "If this horrible crime has been committed by this prisoner, it should be punished.
Okay.
You stand between her and the public, and your duty is to both. If she is innocent, you must preserve her from the sword of the law, which is now suspended over her head. You are not to presume she is innocent just because she's a woman, nor because she has children, nor because of the punishment, which of course is death."
All right.
So those are tough words to hear.
But fair.
But fair. After only 2 days of witnesses and testimony, the jury did not take long to find Lucy Ann Hoag guilty of murder. She was informed that she was to be hanged by the neck until dead on the 7th of May. However, the date would change. Why?
Why?
I don't know if they realized this when they were sentencing her, but Lucy was pregnant. Now, they definitely had something against killing unborn children.
Well, that's true.
No,
That's true.
that's a
They
big
did the
no-no.
same thing in the Salem witch trials.
Exactly.
They were pregnant. Well, that's understandable.
Yes. So
they have to
now,
wait till she goes...
whose child is this, you might say?
Gee, I can't imagine.
Her lover boy, Mr. Summers.
Naturally.
Of course. She gave birth to a little girl on April 18th, 1852, in her cell.
Oh.
Now, Washington Hunt, the governor of New York at the time, wrote a letter to the Dutchess County Sheriff, Alonzo Maury. In the letter, he said that it was best to hold off on the execution so that she could nurse the child.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Why take it out on the kid?
Exactly. However, he stressed that the execution should still totally happen.
Okay.
He's all like, this crazy bitch still needs to die.
When the kid graduates college at this point? No? Okay.
No. He said, give her a second with the kid, then kill her. So, Lucy sat in her prison cell with her new baby.
Oh, well, that is sad.
She was informed that her new execution date was set for July 30th. Mm-hmm. And also that she wouldn't be alone. No. What's this you're saying?
What are they going to kill with her?
Lucy's going to share the gallows with another murdering scoundrel.
Oh?
Jonas Williams.
Okay.
Does he have anything to do with her? Absolutely not. He was a black man who raped and killed his stepdaughter.
Oh.
The same men who decided to interview Lucy in the prison for the murder pamphlet, they decided that they would also interview this guy too to create another
while we're here,
murder pamphlet.
while we're here,
you
know, make it a 2-for-1.
Kill two,
Yeah, buy one, get one free. BOGO.
Make a little extra money.
Make a little BOGO hanging.
We're having a BOGO sale on murder pamphlets.
Yeah, here you go.
So his murder pamphlet was a little less lengthy than hers. People were much more interested in the white woman being murdered or being executed than the black guy. They're like, we don't care. So, yeah.
It was never brought up at the trial. I'm not saying it's okay that she killed him, but she might have had a reason to kill him.
Oh, no, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Like,
No.
he was abusive or...
That never came up.
That he had to come in or... Okay.
It's like 19th century. Men are abusive. It's like
And
the rule of thumb, that all applies.
All right.
Yeah.
He hit his wife. She
Yeah.
had to come in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we
Okay.
come to July 30th. Now, perhaps the saddest thing of all here is just a few days before her execution, they had taken her baby girl away. The one that she had given a birth to like a month beforehand. So she proclaimed, "Now let them execute me. I have nothing left to live for." Like, honey, you had 5 other kids. You didn't think about them?
No.
You're only,
She didn't think about anything.
No. So, she went fairly easily to the gallows. Now, the gallows were specially constructed inside the main hall of the Dutchess County Courthouse.
Indoors.
Inside.
An indoor hanging?
In the Dutchess County Courthouse.
They hung her next to the drapes?
Pretty
What is
much.
that?
Yeah. The murder pamphlet read, this is what it said. Quote, "A gallows constructed for the purpose had been erected in the main hall, which could be seen through the windows. And about these, all the morning gathered miscellaneous groups of eager gazers at the pieces of wood and iron weights, ropes, and straps combined in a machine that stood firm, staunch, immovable, silent, and ready and waiting to do its quick and sure work."
Were they hanging up the guy next to her in the
Yeah.
lobby too?
Yep.
Everything was indoors.
Everything was
They didn't want the
indoors.
bodies to get wet in case of rain or
They wanted to just, inside that court.
inside
And
hanging.
this was not the first time that they've had executions inside that courthouse.
Okay.
Sometimes, like,
Sounds weird.
if there was a particular, I've read a couple instances of people just being executed right in their jail cells.
Crowd control is the reason for that, like so
I-
it doesn't get out of hand.
Well, it did kind of get out of hand. Crowds had gathered around the courthouse, and it was so crazy they actually had to bring in extra guards because people were like, "Oh my God, they're executing a woman! This is
We all
wild."
wanna see it.
They absolutely
Would have been
cheap-
better if they had it outdoors.
It was cheap entertainment in the 19th
yeah,
century.
that's why I'm surprised they didn't have it outdoors.
Yeah, I
especially
know.
if there's 2 of them.
Because they usually they had
Right.
had plenty of executions outdoors before, but yeah, it's very weird.
It's like a stage. I
Yeah.
mean, you figure. I'm not familiar with indoor
executions, yeah.
Yeah, unless
very-
it's like a lethal in jail.
And it makes me wonder if that courthouse is haunted. Even though I know it's a different building, but it's on the same spot.
It's on the same spot.
Yeah, because the Dutchess County Courthouse has always been on the corner of Main and Market in that particular plot.
Okay.
There's been 4 different buildings on that spot, but it's always in the same spot. Yeah. So I'm
Has anybody said anything that they hear or see? Okay.
I'd be curious. So the crowds that gathered around the courthouse, like I said, were really crazy. She was only really the 4th woman in the whole state's history to be executed, right here in Poughkeepsie. So it was a big deal. Both Lucy and Jonas silently walked into the hall, and both were dressed in white. Sheriff Morey asked them if he and his staff had treated them kindly during their stay. They both said yes.
We loved it here.
Like, yes, I'll give myself 3 stars on Yelp.
yeah.
The food,
We loved it here.
The food was so-so, though. That's more like a 2-star.
Such a lovely place.
It's a nice place.
If you ever, want to be hung and been incarcerated, this is the place.
This is the place.
5 stars.
Yes, absolutely.
Yum, yum.
So a little prayer was said, and at 12 noon, Lucy Ann Hoag and Jonas Williams were hanged together.
What'd they do with the baby?
Interesting about that, the child was born in the prison and ended up being handed over to an orphanage, and I was never able to trace her down as far as they must have changed her name probably. Now her lover, William Summers, he was actually put on trial but was acquitted. So he
Being like an accomplice?
Yeah.
So he didn't do it. It was her alone.
Right. That's what they came to that conclusion. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gee
that
whiz.
is the incredible story of Lucy Ann Hoag. And I don't know where she was buried. I haven't been able to find that out. So I'd be curious.
You hear stories when women are victims of abuse and they can't take it anymore and they wind up killing the husband. And of course, it is what it is. But, you wonder if things like that went on to drive her to it. I mean, what else did she gain? She didn't gain a lot of money from killing him, right?
No, it's not like he was wealthy.
So just to be with the other guy? Couldn't she have run away with the other guy anyway without
not
killing
kill
him?
him. Yeah.
I mean, she didn't have to kill him.
No. So it makes me wonder if she was just cold-blooded bitch.
Then she would have killed the sisters too.
I mean, I would have, because
They were making her life
nasty.
Yeah,
I'm like,
miserable.
That's it. I'm taking the whole family out.
If she was that cold-blooded, she would have,
You think so?
killed. I
Maybe
think I don't know that.
Maybe she thought the sisters were smarter than he was, and she's like, I can't pull this off on them, but I can get him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it must have been a slow, painful death. I like that she's playing it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not doing too good.
I'm like, you could have done that. You didn't have to say anything. Don't say anything.
He's not doing too good.
Just say, oh, my husband's unwell. I should call the doctor. And then, just leave it at that.
He's not good. Guess what? Everybody listening.
Clear your calendars on June 20th.
They're probably going to die. And quick, get him in the ground.
But
I mean, it does look suspicious.
It really
she's
does.
buying. And okay. And
she, this is premeditated.
Yeah, obviously.
She
went, she's buying, you know.
So,
what was that movie? Arsenic and Old Lace? Did you see that? Oh my gosh. He's got these two little old, and they go to church and they're just the sweetest little things, and they're killing these guys left and right with arsenic. Here, have a cookie, honey. You young whippersnapper, have a cookie. You don't know what goes on in someone's mind.
I don't.
I guess divorce wasn't a thing back then, and
not really. No, not that early.
She wanted out, and that was her out.
That was it.
Okay.
Crazy, right?
She was, and indoor hangings. That makes no sense.
I mean, yeah, especially in the time when they were always doing outdoor executions, and it's like
you would think they want a big draw.
Yeah.
Rather than people elbowing each other to get a glimpse in the window.
Get the word out. Ladies, don't kill your husbands, or else this.
Right.
Yeah.
The warning, or a way to sell popcorn and beer and bring family. They deliberately limited it if they did it indoors. Why did they bury just because the gallows were erected already and they just figured, well, we're here?
No, they built the gallows specifically for them.
But why the two of them together? Why not do each one individually?
I guess they killed two with one stone.
While we're here.
While we're here.
While we're here, it's already built.
Yeah.
You don't hear of double murder, executions, right? Unless they were the same murder.
And even then, they generally execute people.
Like in the Lincoln conspiracy thing, right? Didn't they kill all those people together? They hung them all together for the same crime.
Right.
This is two different crimes.
Mary Surratt and all that.
Yeah. It was all for the same crime. Here was.
And
while we're here,
it was an outdoor execution, and people were climbing trees to see
a woman.
Yeah.
That is more shocking for some reason.
Can you imagine hanging out at Alex's restaurant across the street, going, "Oh, can you see it?
Open the curtain."
Oh yes, I'll have the chicken avocado wrap and a view of the execution. Thanks.
There you go. Yeah, it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, that was
entertaining.
That hangings are very entertaining.
That's true.
Bring the kids, bring grandma. Yeah. I guess back then there was all that. I mean, it's like Coliseum stuff, right? Let's go see them. Let's go see the lion eat the guy.
People love that shit.
It really is. Yeah. Go to the Coliseum. You can watch the gladiators cut their heads off and family entertainment. The game the whole family can play. Yeah. I guess that's
good times.
Good times. What do you want to do? I heard there's an execution. Your first date.
We should bring back public executions.
We should, right?
And popcorn.
I actually believe that if they did show public executions and put it on the front page of the paper, I think it might
deter people.
Yeah. I mean, for real serious stuff, like terrorism or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you see the guy with the smoke coming out or whatever it is, or and you're thinking of doing something, that might make you go, ooh.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think it would definitely affect me. I'd be like, nope, we're good.
Yeah, well,
I don't go around killing people. So
no, it's like preaching to the choir with us. But I'm thinking if somebody has you say somebody they don't release things because they're worried about copycat crimes.
Right.
But what if you see something like this and it goes the other way and it's a deterrent that could be me? Yeah. That if I go through with my evil plot, I don't want to look like that guy with the smoke coming out of his ears, frying in the chair. If he's,
Yeah.
I wonder about things like serve like a warning. I mean, right? They used to do that. They would, Vlad the Impaler, right? Put his victims on a stake in front of the house.
Right, yeah.
Don't let this happen to you.
Right, yeah.
Serve as a warning. I wonder.
So that explains all the heads on your front yard.
Yeah. Well, those are my neighbors that, got on my nerves.
Yeah.
They run their lawnmower at 8 in the morning on a Sunday.
Yeah,
and
you're dead.
And that's what happens if you run your lawnmower at 8 in the morning on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's valid.
Your head will go on a
Yeah,
pike.
I understand that.
The other one was a guy that cut me off on the. He put on his left blinker when he was in the right lane. So I had some valid reasons, and and somebody's got to feed the raccoons.
Right, that's right.
There you go.
On that note,
Wow.
woo!
Well, there we go.
Thank you for joining us
On
another
episode
of
All My Favorite People Are Dead.
We're glad this one's dead for sure.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
Ew. All right.
Bye.
All right. See you, breathers.